Thank you. That was wonderful. It is now my honor to introduce to you our keynote speaker, the Honorable David H. Souter, retired Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court. Justice Souter was born in Melrose, Massachusetts on September the 17th, 1939, and earned his A.B. from Harvard College. He spent 2 years as a Rhodes Scholar at Magdalen College, Oxford, where he received an A.B. in jurisprudence from Oxford University and an M.A. in 1989. After receiving his law degree from Harvard Law School, he was an associate at the law firm of Orr and Reno in Concord, New Hampshire from 1966 to 1968, when he became an Assistant Attorney General of New Hampshire. In 1971, he became Deputy Attorney General, and then in 1976, Attorney General of New Hampshire. In 1978, he was named an Associate Justice of the Superior Court of New Hampshire and was appointed to the Supreme Court of New Hampshire as an Associate Justice in 1983. He became a judge of the United States Court of Appeals for the First Circuit on May 25, 1990. President George H.W. Bush nominated him as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, and he took his seat on October the 9th, 1990. Justice Souter, thank you so much for your distinguished service to our country. We appreciate your making the trip to join us at our opening assembly and for honoring us by speaking to us this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable David Souter.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank all of you for welcoming me as you have done. I'm here to speak this evening because civic education in the United States is not good enough, and we have to do something about it. I'm going to try to make the case for what I just said by talking about some ways in which we come to understand the American government and how particular governments that we know about do their work. And I want to speak about the risk to constitutional government when a substantial portion of the American populace simply fails to gain that understanding. In particular, I'll ask you to consider the danger to judicial independence when people have no conception of how the judiciary fits within the constitutional scheme. And I will ask the American Bar Association as an organization and each one of you as individuals to take on the job of responding to the danger that I see. I'll begin by establishing a reference point by way of some autobiography describing how I came to know something about the form and the function of the governments that were close to me when I was growing up. My first steps in that direction were taken in the town hall of Ware, New Hampshire, which is a rectangular building with white clapboards and a little tower in the front. It was a familiar place to me when I was in junior high school. I went to school plays there. I went to dances. The mothers of some of my contemporaries even tried to teach us how to dance the waltz in that room. The rate of success was low, but they tried. And I graduated from the 8th grade in that hall. But the most important thing that I did in the town hall as a boy was to sit through the annual town meetings. And for those of you from the hinterlands who don't know what a New England town meeting is, it's probably the most radical exercise of American democracy you can find, in which all the voters of the town who want to get together show up to form the town's legislative assembly. The meeting is held early in March, which was important in the old days because that was before the mud on the roads got too bad, and it was before the outdoor field work had begun. The agenda for the meeting is a document known as the warrant, to which citizens can add by petition. And when the meeting convenes, the three selectmen are sitting up front representing the executive body of the town, and a few of the other executive officers are there too. The fire chief is always there, the chief of police, the road agent, and they may be called on to answer questions. The meeting is run by a moderator chosen by the voters, and when I was young, the moderator in my town was a skillful man by the name of Scott Eastman, who ran a superb meeting year after year. Sitting there as I did, sometimes at the back of the hall, sometimes further down with my mother and father, I learned three basic things. The first thing I learned is that although we talk about the government of the town was in fact a divided power. There was a clear sense of the line between the legislative power, power over things the town meeting could do, and the power to put the votes of the town meeting into effect, the executive power. People shared an equally clear understanding of who could do what within the executive sphere and who was responsible if anything went wrong.